Honorable members, let's take this opportunity for silent prayer and meditation. Amen. Greetings, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Premier, the Chief Whip of the Legislature, the Chief Whip of the Opposition, Honorable Members, Molweni. We will now go to item number 2, which would be obituaries. Honorable Members, as we gather to conduct the business of this House, we take a moment to pause and acknowledge those remarkable individuals who have recently left us. Their journeys on this earth may have ended, but the values they upheld and the contributions they made continue to shape our province for the better. We extend our deepest sympathies to the families, friends, and communities. May they find strength in knowing that the legacies of their loved ones remain firmly etched in our collective memory. The House pays tribute to the following individuals: Mr. Albert Mazibuko, a revered elder, cultural custodian, and long-standing member of the legendary Ladysmith Black Mambazo. He dedicated over 5 decades of his life to music, having joined the group in 1969. His voice and presence became a defining part of Ladysmith Black Mambazo's sound, contributing to a legacy that resonated across South Africa and the world. The next is His Royal Highness Umntwana Gibizizwe Wellington Kakadulana Solomon. His voice and presence became a defining part of Ladysmith Black Mambazo's sound, contributing to a legacy that resonated. Victor Piko waziwayo kaSolomon kaDinizulu kacetshwayo kaMpande. Miss Cynthia Philisiwe Shange, a legendary South African actress and cultural icon, born in Lamontville, here in KwaZulu-Natal. Miss Shange rose to national prominence in the 1970s after being crowned first Black Miss South Africa and went on to represent South Africa on the global stage at the Miss World pageant in London, where she achieved an impressive 5th place finish. Beyond pageantry, Miss Shange distinguished herself as a talented and respected actress, captivating audiences through her memorable performances in acclaimed productions such as Udeliwe, Shaka Zulu, and later the popular television soap opera Mubango. Through her work, she made an indelible contribution to South African film and television, opening doors for generations of artists who followed. In recognition of her immense contribution to the arts and to South African storytelling, Ms. Shange was honored with Lifetime Achievement Awards, affirming her status as a true trailblazer in the entertainment industry. Retired Judge President Ahmad Naim Yapi, a distinguished jurist who served the people of South Africa with honor, integrity, and unwavering dedication to justice. Born in Gqeberha in the Eastern Cape and raised in Durban, Judge President Yapi made KwaZulu-Natal his lifelong home. He was appointed to the bench in 1998, embarking on a judicial career spanning more than 2 decades, during which he earned widespread respect for his sound judgment, deep legal scholarship, and principled leadership. Judge President Yapi served with distinction as Deputy Judge President and later as Judge President of the KZN Division of the High Court. His exceptional leadership and reputation for fairness led to his appointment as an acting judge of the Constitutional Court and to a brief tenure at the Labour Appeal Court. Admired by colleagues, practitioners, and court users alike for his calm temperament, humility, and steadfast commitment to justice, he continued serving the public even after his retirement in 2021 as chairperson of a judicial conduct tribunal. Recognize victims of gender-based violence, femicide and hate crimes, flood victims, public servants and traditional leaders of our provinces and the country, artists and veterans of the entertainment industry, and all those who may have tragically lost their lives in road accidents across our province in the recent weeks. I now invite the House to observe a moment of profound silence in honor of all those who have passed on. May their souls rest in peace. We will now move on to further announcements by the Speaker, which is item 3 on the order paper. The first one is voting announcement on party voting during the sitting. Honourable members are reminded that this sitting will be conducted in terms of our standing rules. Rule 2884 of the rules states that the presiding officer or chairperson must, before or at the start of the discussion on the matter, expressly inform members of a party if a party vote will be taken. In line with the above, honourable members, I can confirm that voting will take place on the conferral of a final mandate on the Public Service Commission Bill B30B 2023. Bear in mind that a party vote is a collective vote on behalf of all the members of a party present at a sitting, up to the total membership of that party in the city. I will, however, allow an opportunity for any individual member to vote differently from his or her party or to abstain if any member wishes to do so. We will now proceed with the rest of the items in the order paper. On apologies, we have an apology, one apology from Ms. Nerosha Naidu, the Legislature Secretary, who is attending the National Secretaries Forum today and tomorrow on behalf of KwaZulu-Natal, and her duties would be covered by the Executive Manager for Parliamentary Services, Mr. Memela. Honourable members, we will let you of members who are not well. The Honourable Reverend K.M. Zondi, MEC for Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, is unwell and will be participating virtually. His report will accordingly be presented to the House by the Honourable Ms. Chipi Madlo Pamtetwa, MEC for Agriculture and Rural Development. On birthdays, I would also like to wish a happy birthday in advance to the Honourable S.V. De Boer, whose birthday is on the 30th of April. 3.5 is a notification of surname change. The Office of the Speaker has received formal notification together with the requisite supporting documentation from Honourable Mr. Mafika Damane Sangweni regarding the change of his surname from Ndebele to Sangweni. Honourable members are kindly requested to note that with effect from today, Honourable Sangweni is henceforth known as Honourable Mr. M.D. Sangweni. The updating of his personal details across all relevant systems within the legislature will be processed in due course, but in the House, he is identified already as Honourable Sangweni. Congratulatory remarks. Honourable members, may I take this opportunity to congratulate the following staff members who ran and successfully completed the 56-kilometer Two Oceans Ultra Marathon held in Cape Town on 11 April 2026. Mr. Mqondisi Ngcobo, Mrs. Duduza Gatsheni, Dr. Mthunzi Bhengu, Mr. Philani Mthembu, Ms. Delisile Mpisana, and Mr. Sihle Duma. The Two Oceans Marathon is internationally renowned as one of the most challenging and prestigious ultra-marathon events, And completing this race is a remarkable testament to perseverance, discipline, and physical endurance. We also extend our congratulations to all participants who took part in this iconic sporting event, which continues to showcase excellence in athletics and promote a culture of health and resilience. We commend our team members and all the runners for bringing pride to their institutions and communities, particularly those who are Team KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Legislature. Congratulations. 3.7 is the reminder for submission of disclosure of financial interest forms. Honorable members, please be reminded that in terms of Schedule 1 of the Standing Rules of the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature, and in particular that part which deals with the Code of Conduct for members, members are required to disclose full details of their registrable interest by the 30th of April every year. Should members require any assistance in completing the form, please refer to Item 13 of the Code of Conduct in the Standing Rules or contact Mr. Nishan Sukraj at the Legal Services. Honorable members, as we mark World Autism Acceptance Month this April, let us reaffirm our commitment to building an inclusive and understanding society. This is a time to move beyond awareness and actively support, respect, and empower autistic individuals in our homes, schools, workplaces, and communities. Together, through our actions, we can help create a more accepting and equitable world for all. Also, honorable members, April is observed as Caesarean Awareness Month, a time to raise awareness about caesarean births and promote safe, respectful, and evidence-based maternity care. While caesarean sections are vital, life-saving procedures when medically necessary, their overuse can pose avoidable risk to both mothers and babies. This month reminds us of the importance of empowering women with accurate information about their childbirth options, supporting informed decision-making, and ensuring dignity and respect in all birth experiences. As a legislature, we reaffirm our commitment to strengthening maternal health care services and improving outcomes for mothers and children across our province. That we have done through the work of the Department of Health, which continues to improve on the daily. We will move to the World Earth Day. Honorable members, today we pause to mark the commemoration of World Earth Day observed annually on 22 April. This important global occasion reminds us of our collective responsibility to protect and preserve the natural environment that sustains all life. It calls upon governments, institutions, communities, and individuals to act decisively against environmental degradation, climate change, pollution, and the continued loss of biodiversity. As the province of KwaZulu-Natal, we are richly endowed with natural beauty and biodiversity, yet we remain vulnerable to serious environmental challenges, including extreme weather events, flooding, and increasing pressures on waste management and sustainable development. This day, therefore, urges us not only to reflect, but to act with agency and purpose. Let us reaffirm our commitment to responsible environmental stewardship and sustainable development and work together to build a greener, cleaner, and more resilient KwaZulu-Natal for the benefit of the present and future generations. Honorable members, as we observe Freedom Month this April, we reflect on South Africa's journey to a democratic and non-racial society. It is a time to honor the sacrifices of those who fought against apartheid, celebrate the progress achieved, and recommit ourselves to addressing the challenges that remain. The 2026 Freedom Day celebration, therefore, that has been organized by the Premier of KwaZulu-Natal, Mr. Arthur Thamsanqa-Ntuli, who further cordially invites all members of the KwaZulu-Natal Legislature to attend, will take place on Monday, 27 April 2026 at 10 o'clock at the Alfred Duma Indoor Sports Center. Those are the announcements that we had from our side. We will now move to item number 4, which is announcements or reports by the Premier. I will therefore give this opportunity to the Honourable Premier Ntuli.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker, the Honourable Madam Deputy Speaker, Honourable Chief Whip, the Honourable Chair of Chairs, the Honourable MECs present, Honourable members of the Legislature. Madam Speaker, on Tuesday, the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government marked a milestone in youth development with the official handover of 300 digital devices to 300 unemployed youth at the old Ulundi Legislature building. The initiative formed part of the Youth Skills Training Program 2025-2030, designed to equip young people with critical digital and entrepreneurial skills for modern economy. Beneficiaries from Zululand, King Cetshwayo and Mkhanyakude districts will receive specialized training in cybersecurity and technopreneurship, addressing both unemployment and the growing demand for digital expertise. Of the 300 participants, 180 graduates will focus on technopreneurship, while 120 matriculants will be trained in cybersecurity. In addition, 85 persons with disabilities will benefit from targeted training in furniture making and new venture creation, ensuring inclusivity. The Youth Skills Training Program is about unlocking opportunities, inspiring new hope, and preparing youth to actively continue to economic growth. The initiative reflects the province's broader strategy to empower youth who are not in education, employment, or training. By prioritizing practical, technical, and entrepreneurial skills, it also reaffirms the government's long-term commitment to building a capable, confident, and economically active generation that will shape the future of KwaZulu-Natal. Honourable members, in our effort to improve service delivery and listen to the views of the people, or the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal, we hosted yesterday the Operation Sukumasakes District Development Model in Amajuba District Municipality under Emadlangeni Local Municipality. The provincial government is working tirelessly to inspire new hope by building communities that thrive on collaboration and active citizen involvement. Madam Speaker, the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government welcomed the official handover of the South African Police Services Forensic Science Laboratory in Mayville. The first phase of the laboratory marked a decisive step towards modernizing crime detection and strengthening the critical justice system. It also represents a strategic shift in policing, integrating science, technology, and evidence-based investigation to deliver justice in certainty, speed, and integrity. It will go a long way in addressing complex crimes, including gender-based violence and femicide, by improving the quality and turnaround time of forensic evidence. Honourable members, please join me in congratulating Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi on the renewal of his contract as Provincial Commissioner of KwaZulu-Natal, and more especially on his appointment to lead the National Task Team on Organized Crime. The renewal of his contract and the recent appointment to lead the National Task Team on Organized Crime is a vote of confidence in his tireless efforts to fight crime in the province and inspires new hope among the province's citizens. Honourable Speaker, we are pleased to announce that the KwaZulu-Natal provincial government will host the official commemoration of Freedom Day and 32 years of democracy in South Africa on 27 April 2026 in Alfred Duma local municipality, as the Speaker has also announced. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Before we continue with tables, it has come to our attention that there are apologies that were sent and properly processed by MK that did not make it to the document that we have. I will follow it up, Honorable Mngadi, with the administration that were making the announcements and tablings. Those Honorable SPG Mbata, who is unwell, Honorable HS Lamini, who is also unwell. Also, Inkosi PDH Chiliza, usekela ndunankulu wesilo, uthunywe isilo eKapa, naye akekho. We will follow up. Honorable members, we are now going to item number 5, which is tabling of reports or papers. The first one is the KZN Legislature Budget Performance in-year monitoring report for the month of March 2026. The report from chairperson of committees, they are tabling the report on committee resolutions management January to March 2026, report on oversight of implementation of MTDP projects January to March 2026. The Portfolio Committee on Transport tables Transport PC Oversight Visit Report on the state of infrastructure in Jozini Road Traffic Inspectorate Station. They table their report on the festive season road safety program for 2025 held at Kokstad, Empangeni, N2 and Tugela Plaza Toll. The further table their report for the oversight to the upgrade of D1842 road on the 11th of March. Update, also a report on the update of construction of the new Nongoma Road Traffic Inspectorate Station. The PC oversight visit. Honorable members, please respect the rules. Whoever had a phone that would ring so that it's heard by all of us is contravening the rules. The transport PC further tables its oversight visit report on the 11th of March 2026 to the rehabilitation of Main Road P443. KM 21.020, KM 23.540. They further table their oversight visit held on the 16th of September 2025 to the rehabilitation of District Road P164 in Pofana Local Municipality, Moy River. The PC on transport further tables its oversight visit held on 21 October 2025 to the upgrade of P258 road. Their oversight visit on the same 21 October 2025 on the rehabilitation of Provincial Road P274. The transport oversight visit report to the rehabilitation of District Road P189, Alfred Duma Local Municipality, and further their portfolio committee stakeholder engagement session held on the 12th of December 2025. The Portfolio Committee on Sports, Arts and Culture tables its oversight visit to Belgrade Sports Complex and Fitness Center. The Quality of Life Standing Committee tables its 2025 Youth Parliament Report and 2025 Women's Parliament Report. The Office of the Premier Portfolio Committee tables the KZN Office of the Premier 2026-2027 Annual Performance Plan. No, it's the department, it's the Office of the Premier, not the committee. Then the Department of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs tables Ugu District Municipalities and the South Coast Tourism and Investment Enterprises 2024-2025 annual oversight reports. Umsinga Local Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and 2024-2025 Oversight Report. Umlalazi Municipality 2024-2025 MPEC Oversight Report on the 2024-2025 Annual Report. Ilembe District Municipalities 2024-2025 Annual Report and 2024-2025 Oversight Report. Umgungundlovu District Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 Financial Year and 2024-2025 Oversight Report. Nongoma Local Municipality 2024-25 Financial Year Annual Report. Big Five Tabisa Local Municipality 2024-2025 Annual Report and 2024-2025 Oversight Report. eThekwini Metropolitan Municipalities 2024-25 Annual Report and 2024-25 Oversight Report. Umkhanyakude District Municipality 2024-25 Oversight and Annual Report. Umngeni Local Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and the Oversight Report for 2024-25. Umzumbe Local Municipality Annual Report for 2024-2025 as well as the Oversight Report for 2024-2025. The Mandeni Local Municipality Oversight Report 2024-2025. Umvoti Local Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and the 2024-2025 Oversight Report. Greater Kokstad Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and the Oversight Report for 2024-2025. Zululand District Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and the 2024-25 Oversight Report. Herikwala District Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and the 2024-25 Oversight Report. And Umhlabuya Lingana Local Municipality Annual Report 2024-2025 and Oversight Report for 2024-25. The Department of Finance or Provincial Treasury tables the KwaZulu-Natal Provincial Treasury Annual Performance Plan 2026-2027. The Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs tables the following. The Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs Annual Performance Plan for 2026-2027, vote for. The Dubai Trade Port Corporation 2026-2027 Annual Performance Plan. Ezemvelo KZN Wildlife 2026-2027 Annual Performance Plan. KZN Shark Sport 2026-2027 Annual Performance Plan. Richards Bay Industrial Zone 2026-2027 Annual Performance Plan. KZN Tourism and Film Authority 2026-2027 APP. Itala Development Finance Corporation 2026-2027 APP. Trade and Investment KZN 2026-27 APP. KZN Growth Fund Agency 2026-27 APP. Moses Godana Research Institute 26-27 APP, and the KZN Economic Regulatory Authority APP. Then we'll move to the Department of Transport and Human Settlements. They table the Department of Transport Annual Performance Plan 2026-2027, the Department of Human Settlements APP 2026-2027, 2027-2028. Department of Community Safety and Liaison tables the Department of Community Safety and Liaison's APP 2026-2027. The Department of Education tables its 2026-2027 APP. The Department of Health also tables 2026-2027, then 2028-2029 APP. The Department of Sports, Arts and Culture tables its 2026-2027 APP. KZN Amafa and Research Institute 2026-2027 APP. Department of Agriculture and Rural Development tables Agribusiness Development Agency Organizational Annual Operational Plan 2026 to 2027, and the Department of Agriculture and Rural Development 2026-2027 Annual Performance Plan. The Public Service Commission also tables overview report on the payment of invoices after 30 days by the KZN provincial departments for the 2024-25 financial year, November 2025, and Section 1964E report for the 2024-2025 financial year. The Department of Social Development tables the report on the provision of social development services April to December 2025. Honorable members, if there is any table of a report that we may have omitted, we'll allow an opportunity for that to be recorded. So long, we'll move to item number 6, which is formal motions or notices by the Chief Whip. And I therefore call upon the Honorable MP Gwala, the Chief Whip.
Honorable Speaker, Honorable Premier of the Province, Leader of Government Business, MECs, Chair of Chairs, colleagues in the Legislature, Acting Director General and senior officials, there is no formal motions and notices from the Office of the Chief Whip. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Chief Whip. We'll now move on to notices of bills and motions, which is item 7 on the order paper. I'll call upon Honorable N.J. Nkwanyana.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. Despite advances in education and healthcare, many women and children and many women and girls continue to face barriers in their daily lives simply because of menstruation, a natural process that remains burdened by stigma and silence. It is crucial to dismantle this taboo and create an environment in which all can participate fully in society. Addressing menstrual health comprehensively requires both practical support and deliberate effort to challenge culture, norms through education and open dialogue. This House resolves urge government to fund free sanitary towels like condoms, challenge stigma through education and awareness, and ensure disadvantaged women and girls have equal access to education and health. I shall so move.
The next member is Honorable P.N. Msimango.
Honourable Speaker Mahubela, on the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. This House notes that the government of provincial unity in KwaZulu-Natal does not make empty promises when it says it prioritizes service delivery to all communities and knew what must be done. The Department of Sport, Arts and Culture is building libraries such as Imbali Library while extending access to rural communities. This House resolved to commend the KZN MEC to Sport, Arts and Culture, Honorable Mtomhle Kaula, for building state-of-art libraries in communities. 2, to call for an unannounced oversight visit to libraries and sport field project to ensure contractors meet deadlines and specifications, and that action is taken against poor workmanship and incompetency. I shall so move.
The Honorable O.B. Kunene.
Honourable Speaker, at the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. This house notes aging water infrastructure, including pipes and distribution networks in municipalities, in many municipalities, is increasingly failing, leading to frequent leaks and interruptions in the provision of clean water. These failures are often due to insufficient funding or negligence by those responsible for maintaining municipal infrastructure. Such shortcomings undermine public trust and hinder service delivery. This House resolves to call on municipalities to address urgently aging water infrastructure and prioritize maintenance to ensure reliable water supply. To call on the Honorable KZN MEC for Kokta, Honorable T.D. to hold municipal councils accountable for failures. To call for an urgent parliamentary debate on accountability. I shall so move. Thank you.
The next member is the Honorable S.A. Duma. You are muted, Honorable Duma. You are not visible here in the House, and you are also not muted.
Am I
Please
not visible? Am I not visible, Honorable Speaker? Speaker, am I not visible still?
You are now visible. You are now visible, Lwandle.
Oh, thank you so much, Leadership Speaker. In the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows, Honorable Speaker Khubela. In the fight against the issue of corruption, we want to thank the role played by Minister of Justice and Constitutional Development, Minister Mamluko Kubai, who has introduced progressive reforms aimed at strengthening protection for whistleblowers. Government is acknowledging that many people who have information that could potentially expose corruption, fear, retaliation, death, and personal financial losses. The Protected Disclosures Bill is indeed a step in the right direction, as we believe that it will safeguard individuals who come forward with information on wrongdoing. The House therefore resolves welcome the release of Protected Disclosure Bill for public comment. I so move. Thank you so much, Speaker.
The next member is Honorable B.M. Zuma.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the next sitting day of this House, on behalf of the ANC, I shall move as follows. This House notes that the MEC for Transport and Human Settlement, Siboniso Duma, has recently intensified efforts to root out fraud in the driver's license issuing through Transport and Traffic Inspection Unit. That these actions aim to improve road safety and protect integrity of testing centers. The House therefore resolves to support the anti-corruption measures in licensing, to commend the department and the law enforcement efforts, and to promote safer roads and accountability. I shall so move.
The next member is Honorable F.A. Masiko.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows, that this House notes that the KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Education, Sipho Hlomuga, launched the 2026 virtual tuition program to support matric learners, that the program uses digital platforms to provide lessons, guidance, and revision support to all grade 12 learners, that it advances equity and improves learner outcomes. The House therefore resolves to commend this initiative, to support digital education expansion, and to strengthen partnerships for learner success. I shall so move.
The next member is Honorable M. Nye.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I give notice that at the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. Noting that in Nshangweni, Ward 7, some households reportedly received toilet installations while others were left out without clear explanation. Many residents still rely on pit toilets. Some have had to install their own pipes to access water. Residents have reportedly gone without reliable water for over 8 years, and repeated attempts to obtain answers from the municipality have not yielded a satisfactory response. This House resolves that this House calls on the MEC for Kokta to urgently engage eThekwini municipality, obtain a full report, clarify beneficiary criteria, identify remedial steps, and ensure timelines to address these water and sanitation failures affecting the local community. So shall I move.
The Honorable H.S. Leggett.
Madam Speaker, I hereby give notice that at the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. Noting that on the 22nd of April, the world observed Earth Day, a global call to strengthen environmental protection, and that KwaZulu-Natal's rich natural heritage is not only intrinsically valuable, but a critical economic asset. This House therefore resolves that environmental enforcement capacity in KZN be urgently strengthened, waste management and pollution control measures be intensified, and that greater investment be directed toward protecting biodiversity and natural ecosystems. I so move.
T. Colin.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I give notice at the next sitting in this House, on behalf of the Democratic Alliance, I shall move as follows. Noting that the expanded public works program was envisioned to assist vulnerable residents, offering an income, opportunity to learn skills, and a lifeline out of poverty. EPWP has been used as a political tool in the past, with access reserved to connected individuals instead of deserving people. It has also been used to take advantage of desperate citizens. This House resolves to acknowledge the transformative introductions made by MEC Mayor, which include training, certification, and entrepreneurial guidance for participants, empowering them to access opportunities which could change their lives. So shall I move.
The next member is Honorable C.M. Shinga.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This House notes the passing of provincial arts icons Cynthia Shange and Albert Mazibuko, whose contributions shaped KwaZulu-Natal's cultural and entertainment landscape. This House therefore resolves that the KZN government reviews mechanisms to honor and support artists through sustainable programs, that a cross-departmental approach be explored to provide social and economic support to artists, that the policies be strengthened to preserve and develop arts, that deliberate measures be introduced to preserve and promote the legacy of cultural icons through archives, recognition programs, and education initiatives. Somlomo ngiyakuphakamisa.
The next member is Honorable M.A. Dex.
Honorable Speaker, I rise on behalf of Controversies where to move that at the next sitting of this House, the House deliberates on the corruption and epic failure of this illegitimate government of provincial unity in KZN. After 22 months of mismanagement, the majority of people in KZN remains landless, unemployed, poor, hungry, and without hope. The people of this province did not vote for this nonsense that had been imposed upon them through political thuggery. This House resolved that this unholy, fraudulent arrangement is not the will of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. I so move.
The next member is Honorable BC Mgadi.
Mhlonishwa somlomo ngiphakamisa esikhundleni somkhonto wesizwe party ukuba indlu yeshamthetho ngokuhlala okulandela sifisa idingide nanti udaba olubalekile oluthinta imindeni eminingi yakwaMashu. Siwumkhonto wesizwe party sikhathazekile ngodaba lwenhlekelele yengozi yesitimela eyenzeka mhla zu-4 ku-October 1965 e-Effingham kwaMashu lapho isitimela esasilayisha abantu abalinganisela ku-1,500 saginqa futhi sasingekho esimweni sabulala abantu abamnyama abangu-87 kwalimala abalinganisela ku-200 ngenxa yobudedengu kwahulumeni wobandlululo futhi okwabukeka kuyinhloso yokuqeda ngomuntu omnyama. Imindeni yalabo abashona basaphila phezulu kwengcindezi yokuhlukumezeka ngenxa yaleyo nhlekelelo futhi nokungcwatsha kwabo akubanga naso isizotha. I shall so move.
The Honorable Manchero Basiela.
Madam Speaker, on behalf of Mkhonto Wesizwe, I hereby give notice of my intention to move the following motion. That this House notes with profound concern the escalating erosion of public confidence in the IEC, specifically regarding the systemic vulnerabilities that disenfranchised millions in 2024 when the Commission failed to protect the integrity of the vote against widespread IT irregularities when the computers were shut down. Further notes that the partisan alignment of the IEC and judges has compromised the true meaning of independence and the cornerstone of functional democracy. Therefore calls for an immediate general forensic audit of logistics and IT systems. Resolves that this commission must undergo a comprehensive reconfiguration of operational systems to ensure that the process is entirely rig-proof and restored to absolute neutrality. I so move.
The Honorable SP Sene.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On behalf of Mkhonto Wesizwe, I hereby give notice that in the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. This House expresses its concern regarding the recent acquisition of 30 vehicles by the MEC of Kokta, exclusively for 30 Amakosi, while there are a total of 300 Amakosi in the province. Reasons for this motion is that the decision to provide vehicle only to a fraction of Amakosi undermines the principle of equitable resources distribution amongst traditional leaders who play a vital role in the community government and development. It is imperative that all 300 Amakosi receive support and resources that are commensurate with the role and responsibilities. This will ensure that all traditional leaders are empowered to serve their communities effectively. I therefore commend this House call for a review of criteria used for the allocation of resources to Amakosi and advocates for a more inclusive approach that recognizes the importance of all. I shall so move.
The next member, Honorable Manapela Speaker Makubane. Honorable
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What rule are you rising on?
106.
Yeah?
Rule 106, subsection 4.
$106 and which subsection?
4.
Okay.
Madam Speaker, when we move motions here, except through concurrence as provided there, one must state that we give notice to move motion at the next sitting of this House. The Honorable Basiela, her motion did not state that at the beginning. So was it a motion that she was moving with or without notice? And if so, can we get clarity and a ruling from yourself in that regard?
Of course, it's true. The honorable member did not say without notice, but it was implied in that she said, I request permission to move to this house. Now, the permission is always given in terms of the rules by either concurrence or being moved to the next sitting. We felt that it's an area, we noted an area to attend when we do further rules empowerment, but it was implied by her own utterance. Thank you, Honorable Kika. Actually, it was very educational. Very educational. The next member, next member, Honorable Tinkos.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. I hereby give notice on behalf of the economic freedom fighter that I shall move on the next sitting day of this House as follows. The proposed amendment to the Prevention of Illegal Eviction from Unlawful Occupational of Land Act seeks to further impose harsher sentences to our already financial and social abuse people. Why make new laws and amendments without providing adequate housing and land for the people who have already robbed their own existence in their own country? This House therefore resolves to reject these inhuman laws and focus on providing proper housing, land, and decent life for its people. I shall so move. Thank you.
The next member is the Honorable Ban Prakash.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. On the next sitting day of this House, I shall move on behalf of the IFP that this House notes the groundbreaking advances in HIV prevention involving Ms. Tabile Mwandla, while expressing grave concern over reports from KwaMapumulu of individuals, including learners, abandoning antiretrovirals and other chronic treatments due to harmful religious influence. We reaffirm that ARVs are life-saving. This House therefore calls for urgent rollout and equitable access to new prevention tools, strengthening compulsory school-based education on treatment adherence, and firm regulation with decisive legal action against any institution or leader promoting the abandonment of prescribed medical care. I shall so move. Thank you.
The Honorable Mbegwala.
Honorable Speaker, Mahubela, on the next sitting day of this House, I shall move as follows. This House notes on the 21st March 2026, the IFP marked its 51st anniversary, founded in 1975 by Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi. This House resolves, 1, to commend the IFP for remaining a strong voice for ordinary South Africans despite being written off since 1975. 2, to commend Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi for founding a party that continues to serve South Africans. 3, to call on citizens to trust the IFP as a proven organization, as evidenced by its continued growth since 2021, with the IFP achieving 41 by-election victories and welcoming members from various political parties, including Dr. Bongani Mngwango, former Secretary General of Umkhonto weSizwe. I shall so move.
Order, honorable members. The next member is Honorable CQ Madlopa.
Honorable Speaker, on the next sitting day of this House, on behalf of the African National Congress, I shall move as follows. This House notes that the KwaZulu-Natal MEC for Health, Noma Kukusmelane, has recently raised concern over alleged disinformation, particularly at Ekhaya Labafundi in Guamapumulo, discouraging antiretrovirus use. That abandoning treatment for HIV and AIDS poses serious risk to the life and the public health. That the department promotes collaborations with religious leaders to combat disinformation. The House therefore resolves to condemn harmful health misinformation, to support continued use of the savings treatment, to strengthen partnership to protect public health. I so move, Honorable Speaker.
The Honorable HGS Mavimbela.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. On the next sitting day of this House, on behalf of the African National Congress, I shall move as follows. This House notes, one, that the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education has opened over 3,000 promotional posts across schools. Two, that these include departmental heads, deputy principals, and principals to strengthen leadership capacity. Three, that the MEC Siphohlo Muga has affirmed this is a key to building a high-performing education system. This House therefore resolves, one, to welcome this intervention, two, to support the strengthening of school leadership, three, to the department in advancing quality education for all learners. I shall so move.
The Honorable MD Sangweni.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In the next sitting day of this House, on behalf of the African National Congress.
Sangweni, sit down. Honorable member who said Umshadikazi withdraw that. It's on record. No, it's you, Honorable Sam. It's you, Honorable Sam, you know.
I withdraw.
Honorable members, may we make the House non-discriminatory and free from hate, but importantly understand the importance of culture when we're speaking. Yes.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable Sangweni, Honorable Seme, unombuzo bubuza kuSpeaker. Oh, okay. I was going to respond to it. Honorable MD Sangweni.
Thank you. Honorable Speaker, in the next sitting day of the House, on behalf of the African National Congress, I shall move as follows. That this House recognizes that the immediate liquidation of Uthungathi Hewlett constitutes a systematic threat to KwaZulu-Natal's economy and South Africa agro-industrial base, placing over 18,000 small-scale growers and approximately 300,000 livelihood at risk, despite 2.5 billion invested through public development finance. that this reflects a structural market failure requiring a decisive interventionist state. Therefore, the House resolves to reject opportunistic forces that seek to use or exploit this crisis for their benefit, to commend Minister Park Tau's stance in opposing the liquidation, and to call for an urgent recapitalization, accelerated investor mobilization, and coordinated state action to safeguard the jobs, preserve productivity, and advance inclusive industrial transformation. I shall so move.
The Honorable S.V. De Boer.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I give notice that at the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. Noting that in the 2024-2025 financial year, 421 young girls between 10 and 14 years fell pregnant in KwaZulu-Natal. Both the Criminal Law, Sexual Offences and Related Matters Amendment Act and the Children's Act impose mandatory reporting obligations. This House resolves for MECs Mbali Shinga, MEC Gugu Simelane, and Premier Tamim Tuli to urgently form an investigative task team to investigate all 421 cases. The task team must include SAPS, the NPA, the Department of Social Development, the Department of Health, and the Department of Basic Education. KZN must find ways to ensure that perpetrators of sexual abuse are prosecuted, listed in the Sexual Offences Register, and lawfully punished. So shall I move.
The Honorable Dr. Aikika.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I give notice that at the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. Positively noting that KZN's severe acute malnutrition fatality rate has declined from 11.7% to 6.4%. Notwithstanding, every death remains a child lost to preventable starvation. These figures must not create comfort while communities continue to carry avoidable grief. Further, the Health Portfolio Committee's intended ward-level inquiry to identify vulnerable areas and support targeted interventions. The recruitment of community health workers is welcomed. However, deployment must be strategic. One child's death is one death too many. This House resolves to call for a coordinated whole-of-government response by health, social development, and the Premier to avert preventable deaths and wanton mourning and misery. The GPU works. So shall I move.
Honorable S. Mngadi.
Thank you, Speaker. I hereby give notice that at the next sitting of this House, I shall move as follows. This House notes that Jordan Hill Lewis has been elected as federal leader of the Democratic Alliance following a Democratic DA Federal Congress. Further notes that this election reflects the continued growth, renewal, strengthening of democratic leadership within the Republic, recognizes his track record in public service and governance, including his role in advancing accountable, capable, and clean governance. This House resolves to congratulate Jordan Hill Lewis and the Democratic Alliance on a successful conference and wishes him well as he assumes this important leadership responsibility. We further resolve to remind opposition parties that no chairs were thrown and that this conference should serve as a reminder on what internal party democracy looks like as they try to realize the same internally within their own organizations. I shall move.
The Honorable N.F. Khumalo. Honorable Twala. Honorable Twala stated Honorable Khumalo Mhlonishwa.
Honorable Speaker, the community of Escalene has been deprived of access to sports field The community relied on the Skalin H2 sport ground for all sporting activities until the Department of Sports in the city of Umhlathuze undertook to upgrade the facility in 2018 till to date. That upgrade is not materialized. I therefore rise on behalf of Umkhonto Wesizwe to call for this House to debate the persistent delays in sports fields, projects, and broader failure to maintain sports facilities, especially in townships and in rural areas. I shall so move.
The Honorable JPN Gasa.
On behalf of MK Party, I give notice that I shall move on the next sitting day on this House as follows. This House notes the Provincial Youth Digital Skills Initiative in Northern KwaZulu, offering devices and training in technopreneurship and cybersecurity. While any effort to tackle youth unemployment is welcome, this House must scrutinize implementation, transparency, and impact. Clear targets, fair beneficiary selection, disability inclusion, and timely stipend payments are essential. Partnerships must yield real job placement and sustained support for youth enterprises, not symbolic announcements. That this program must move beyond a once-off intervention and become an inclusive, credible, and scalable pathway into the digital economy for youth, for young people across KwaZulu-Natal, in both rural and urban communities, through accountability and continuous evaluation. I so move.
Thank you to all of you, honorable members, that have been moving motions on behalf of your own parties and constituencies. We'll now move to item number 8, which is questions and interpellations in terms of Standing Rule 119. I am sorry, I need paper staff to come forth. Oh, I am sorted. The first question is to the Premier, and it's questions 16 of 2026 from the Honorable Mr. W.N. Mkhize. Requiring the Premier to explain how the government of provincial unity has enhanced stability and ethical governance following the failed motion of no confidence in December 2025, given ongoing allegations of nepotism, corruption and abuse of state resources raised by members of Umkhonto Wesizwe. Honorable Premier.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable members, the responses are as follows. There are no senior appointments or head of department and other senior management where there is access to state resources within the GPU. The Office of the Premier complies strictly with the Public Service Act 1994, Proclamation 103 of 1994, the Act. The Office of the Premier, through the Honourable Premier as an executive authority, ensures that the requirement for employment do not unfairly discriminate against any person and complies with any statutory requirement for the appointment of employees in terms of I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. It seems as if I'm responding to the wrong one. I'm sorry, Madam Speaker. Well, the response to the question is, in a constitutional democracy, such as ours, a motion of no confidence is not a crisis. It is a legitimate and lawful instrument provided for within our parliamentary system to ensure accountability and transparency. It is a mechanism that strengthens rather than weakens democratic governance by allowing elected representatives to exercise oversight in accordance with the Constitution and the rules of the House. In this instance, the House has pronounced itself. The motion was duly considered and subsequently defeated. That outcome reflects the collective judgment of this legislature at this point in time. It is therefore important that we respect both the process and its result, and that we proceed with the work entrusted to us by the people. With regard to any allegations that may have been raised, our constitutional order is clear. Allegations must be addressed through the appropriate legal and institutional frameworks, as South Africa's democratic architecture provides competent authorities and due processes to test, investigate, and determine such matters. It will be improper to substitute speculation for evidence or process for a procedure. Our responsibility remains to govern with integrity, uphold the rule of law, and focus on service delivery and the advancement of our people. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
What are you doing here? Ms. Ndaba, you are appointing me? Oh, it's on. The mic is on. And we will move to the second question, which is question number 17, from the Honorable Mr. C.T. Kanye of the NKP, asking the Premier on the allegations that senior appointments and access to state resources within the GPU have been influenced by personal, political, or familial relationships. And subsection 2 of that question, if not, which mechanisms are in place to prevent and address such practices?
Thank you, Madam Speaker and honorable members. There are no senior appointments where there is access to state resources within the GPU. The Office of the Premier complies strictly with the Public Service Act 1994, Proclamation 103 of 1994, the Act. The Office of the Premier, through the Honorable Premier Executive as an executive authority, ensures that the requirements for employment do not unfairly discriminate against any person and complies with any statutory requirement for the appointment of employees in terms of Section 64, subsection 2 of the Act. The Premier, as the executive authority, in terms of Section 61, subsection 1 and 67, subsection 2 of the Act, appoints a selection committee to make a recommendation on the appointment to a post of the head of a provincial department or provincial government component, which is chaired by the relevant member of the executive authority and include at least 2 other members of the executive council of the relevant province and the head of the office of the Premier of the province. In terms of Section 67, subsection 5, the selection committee makes a recommendation on the suitability of candidates after considering only information based on valid methods, criteria, or instruments for selection that are free from any bias or discrimination. The inherent requirements of the post, the department's employment equity plan, and in terms of Section 67, subsection 8, Section 67, subsection 6 of the Act, a selection committee records the reasons for its recommendation with a reference to the set criteria. In terms of Section 67, subsection 8 of the Act, if the Honorable Premier does not approve a recommendation of a selection committee, he records the reasons for his decision in writing. In terms of Section 67, subsection 9 of the Act, before making a decision on an appointment or the filling of a post, the Premier satisfies himself that the candidate qualifies in all respect for the post and that his or her claims in his or her application for the post have been verified as directed by the Minister. To prevent and address improper influence, the following mechanisms are in place: structured and competitive recruitment processes. Senior appointments are undertaken through formal, competitive processes designed to promote equal opportunity and safeguard against undue personnel, political, or familial influence, and adhere to the DPSA directives, internal recruitment and selection policies. Prescribed minimum requirement for SMS appointments. Senior management services appointment must meet prescribed minimum requirements, including SACA recognized qualifications and specified levels of relevant managerial experience appropriate to the post. Assessment of senior management experience includes evaluation of managerial capacity and personal oversight, fiscal and budgetary responsibility, leadership record and strategic planning experience, and alignment between previous roles and the operational and strategic demands of the position. For entry-level SMS posts, relevant middle management experience is also assessed. For the mandatory SMS pre-entry compliance, no person may be appointed to an SMS post unless they possess the necessary NQF level and experience as directed by the DPSA. Level and experience as directed by the DPSA, no person may enter the SMS level unless they have successfully completed the compulsory SMS pre-entry program and submitted a valid Nyugela certificate prior to approval of the appointment. Compulsory competence assessment are also conducted. For safeguarding conflict of interest, selection committees are formally constituted and are required to operate impartially and professionally. Panel members must declare any actual or perceived conflict of interest. Where a personal, political, or familiar relationship exists between a panel member and an applicant, the member must recuse themselves to protect the integrity and credibility of the process. On the personal suitability and integrity checks, shortlisted candidates undergo structured competency-based assessment and mandatory personal suitability checks. On oversight and accountability mechanism, recruitment and selection processes are subject to internal oversight, audit mechanism, and compliance monitoring. Aggrieved individuals may utilize established grievance and dispute resolution procedures provided for in law. Any deviation from prescribed procedures or identified irregularity is investigated and addressed through appropriate consequence management measures. In respect of access to state resources, allocation and utilization are governed by applicable financial management legislation, including the Public Finance Mechanism Act 1999, Treasury regulations, and internal financial control systems, which establish mechanisms to ensure transparency, accountability, and proper use of public resources. These include internal controls, approval processes, audit oversight, and reporting requirements. Collectively, these mechanisms safeguard the integrity of senior appointments and the management of state resources ensuring public authority is exercised lawfully and without improper influence. The Office of the Premier remains firmly committed to upholding the constitutional principles of fairness, transparency, accountability, and merit in both senior appointments and the management of public resources. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We will now move to the next question, which is still from the Honorable Mr. Siti Kanye to the Premier on whether any independent investigations or integrity assessments have been commissioned to examine claims of corruption and patronage within the Office of the Premier and GPU-led governments. If so, what were the outcomes and what corrective action was taken?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. The responses are as follows. Since the 1st of July 2024, the Forensic Investigation Services Unit in the Office of the Premier has received 51 requests for investigations relating to allegations of fraud, corruption, and or maladministration in the following departments, municipalities or entities. Department of Health, allegations of fraud and corruption at a KZN Department of Health into the appointment of a panel of external service providers to assist the department in conducting internal audit and risk management services. Department of Culture, allegations of corruption, maladministration, and fraud by senior officials. Matter was closed as it was already investigated by a KZN Culture. Department of Transport, allegations of fraudulent payment certificates and contract management issues in the construction main road, P75/2. Herikwala Development Agency, allegation of financial misconduct, abuse of power, and recruitment irregularities within the Herikwala Development Agency, an entity of the Herikwala District Municipality. Matter was closed and referred to COGTA to investigate in terms of Section 106 of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act 32 of 2000. Office of the Premier, alleged irregularities in the spending of the Communications Directorate budget for the 2023-2024 until 30 September 2024. Department of Education, allegations on irregularities in the appointment of educators at 3 schools, namely the Ezulwini Combined School, the Beckville Secondary School, and the Craig Primary School within Mkungudlov District. Herikwala Development Agency, allegations of financial misconduct, abuse of power, and recruitment irregularities within the Herikwala Development Agency, an entity of Herikwala District Municipality. The matter was closed and referred to Quarter 106. eThekwini Municipality, allegations of irregularities in the tender for the on-street parking management system at the eThekwini Municipality. Matter was referred to Quarter for Section 106 investigation. Department of Education alleged mismanagement of funds at Zama High School. Department of Sports, Arts and Culture, allegations of fraud and corruption in the construction of 2 fitness centers at Newcastle and Ophongolo Municipality by KwaZulu-Natal General Sports, Arts and Culture. Department of Health, allegations of fraud and corruption at KZN Department of Health involving the appointment of officials in key positions within the department. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, allegations of fraud and corruption and falsification of information on the CV of a senior official of the department. Matter was closed as it was unsubstantiated. Department of Agriculture, allegation of fraud, corruption, and collusion on mechanization project in the 2 districts, and fraud and corruption by the management within the department. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, allegations of non-compliance within the provincial policy for granting bursaries and scholarships to external candidates, mismanagement of resources, and potential irregularities in the bursary programs. Big Five Hlabisa municipality alleged in the irregularities in the appointment of a subcontractor to provide fencing services at Ingodini Community Hall. Department of Transport, allegations on the irregular appointment on the advertised RTI post as at the KZN Department of Transport. Department of Education, allegations of fraud and corruption at James and Ngumalo High School. Department of Community Safety and Liaising, allegations of a conflict of interest in the appointment of a service provider. Department of Community Safety and Liaising, allegations of irregularities in the appointment of the director, coastal region within the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Community Safety and Liaising. Big Five Hlabisa local municipality alleged into the irregularities in procurement and human resources at Big Five at Hlabisa local municipality. Department of ATIA, allegations of appointment of a deputy director within the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Economic Department, Tourism and Environmental Affairs. Department of Transport, allegations of regular recruitment and selection process for the Assistant Director, Internal Control post. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, alleged irregularities in the recruitment and selection process for the position of Director, Supply Chain Management within the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. Kokstad Municipality, alleged irregular suspension of the executive manager, cooperative services at Greater Kokstad Municipality, and also alleged irregular appointment of the superintendent for parks, sports field, and public amenities at Greater Kokstad Municipality. Department of Human Settlement alleged allegations of irregular, corrupt allocation of government houses and acquiring of title deeds for 3 houses within KwaZulu-Natal of Human Settlement. Department of Transport alleged a fascination of offer of employment letter and a payment of a counter offer within KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport. Department of Transport alleged fraudulent reappointment of an official within the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport. And also the allegation pertaining to the soliciting of kickbacks from a service provider to renovate a KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport officials a place or of residence. Department of Human Settlement, allegations for irregularities in the allocation of occupation of RDP houses in KwaZulu-Natal Department of Human Settlement at Tegwini Metro, Kwamakhuta. Department of Social Development, allegations of management of funds by a non-profit organization called Kwamashu, a Christian Care Society, which is funded by KZN DSD to operate a residential facility, provide care and protection to elderly persons that are from ages of 60 and above. Matter was closed and referred to SAPS for further investigation. Department of Transport, allegations of irregular payments made by the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport to services provider for work purported to have been completed. And another allegation pertaining to the soliciting of kickbacks, gratification from service providers to be appointed a tender. Itala Development Finance Corporation, allegations of maladministration of fraud and corruption at Itala. Department of Health, allegations of non-functionality of Hospital Board due to political interference and irregular appointment of Imbabazane Company and general workers due to corruption by the assistant system manager, the assistant systems manager at the KZN Department of Health, Tunjambili Hospital. Department of the Agricultural Development Agency. Allegations of irregularities raised by the Auditor General South Africa on the poor management of beneficiary projects as the funded disbursed may not be recoverable from the beneficiaries. Department of Transport, allegation into the alleged falsification of offer of employment letters and payment of counter offer within the department, and also irregularities on the duplicate payment of service provider for services rendered within KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport. Department of Social Development, allegations of corruption in SEM processes at the eThekwini South Cluster of KwaZulu-Natal Department of Social Development. Office of the Premier, alleged a misappropriation of funding by the beneficiary that was awarded through the KwaZulu-Natal Youth Empowerment Fund, which was investigated. Department of Transport, alleged irregularities in the procurement and implementation process of a P340 road project at Ladysmith region within KwaZulu-Natal. Department of Public Works and Infrastructure, allegation into the Nkonjeni project, Ebutubegeni, a reserve Mahlabathini for KZN Department of Public Works and Infrastructure. Department of Education, allegations into the procurement and overtime irregularities at the Pinetown District Office of the Department of Education, and also allegations of fraud and corruption committed by members of the SGB and educators at Isikhethuxolo High School. Department of Health, allegations of irregularities in infrastructure at the Umzimkhulu Hospital, KZN Department of Health. Ilembe Enterprise, allegations are in respect of irregularities in recruitment, procurement, and favoritism at Ilembe Enterprise. KwaDukuza District Municipality, investigation into irregularities and potential corruption concerning the road rehabilitation and stormwater project in Ward 10. Umkhanyawute District Municipality, alleged unreported lost construction machine at Umkhanyawute Ward 20 within the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport. Department of Education, alleged fraud and corruption in the appointment of service providers to render National Schools Nutrition Program. Department of Transport, forensic investigation into allegation of fraud and corruption between officials and service providers within the KwaZulu-Natal Department of Transport. Department of Education, allegations of irregularities in the extension of internship employment contracts by KwaZulu-Natal Department of Education. One investigation was finalized and the report was issued to a relevant municipality in December 2025. Referred to number 15 in the table with the following high-level recommendation. Disciplinary recommendations were made against one official. Civil recovery proceeding to be initiated for the recovery of a sum of 122,423 rand 44 cents. And the municipality was advised through consultations with legal services to consider declaring the amount as fruitless and wasteful expenditure. 6 matters were closed. The remaining 44 matters detailed in the table remain in progress. They are under investigation. The municipality is yet to update the KZN OTP on the implementation of the recommendation relating to FR 22/2024. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. We'll now move to the questions that Honorable LOGB makes me fight with the Chief Whip, standing over questions. And I want to say it up front that we find it as contempt to have questions standing over so much that they would come to the House whilst they were initially returned questions, because departments choose not to respond. We have to have them here in the House. The importance of that is because questions for a written reply have up to 15 subsections in terms of the rules. And when an MEC opts not to respond, you are subjecting the House and the limited time that we have to be responding to that. I will start then with question number 41 of 2026, which was sent to the MEC for Economic Development by Honorable S.V. De Boer. Has KZN Tourism met with the Department of Transport to discuss key roads leading to tourism hubs in terms of road infrastructure improvement? If yes, please provide the details and outcome of the meeting with DOT. If not, why not? And 2, which roads were identified as key tourism access routes and how were they identified? It's MEC Etia, I believe is virtual. It's not there. MEC Zondi is not connected. Is LOGP connected? LOGP, who have been tasked amongst your MECs?
Definitely, Honorable Speaker, we are connected. Earlier on, we had the Speaker advancing that MEC Gamadlopa will respond. However, if she's not ready, we'll crave the indulgence that we skip through and take it from the concept that let us move it through, not today if the MEC is not available, so that we are becoming thorough, and we're sorry for causing any inconvenience which might have been as a result of this, Honorable Speaker. I hope that is in order.
Well, Duma, the apology we received that we tabled was for the report that will be tabled by Honorable Madlopa. And it's not an inconvenience that the MEC had not arranged Honorable LOGP and yourself, Honorable Premier. We find it as ill-discipline. We understand that the MEC is currently sick now, but the questions have been standing over. They were written questions. That one was standing over as an oral question, but the rest of the questions that were going to the MEC, the other one is question 69 from H. Leggett. It was a written question. It was for a written response. You would see with the number of sections that were there. Then another one, there were a lot of questions that were coming as standing over. Another one from Honorable Leggett, question number 70. Another one from Honorable Leggett, which is question number 71. All these questions have been standing over as for questions for written response. Question number 72. Another question from Honorable Collis, question number 73. Question number 75 from Honorable Collis. And yes, and we want to emphasize this, that there is a reason that we have people called parliamentary liaison officers. One of their immediate tasks is to ensure that the office of the HOD responds to questions for the signature of the MEC. I'm emphasizing it because I'm seeing the HOD of Economic Development is in the House and his department doesn't have responses. Politicians sign off what has been prepared between the two offices, head of department and the parliamentary liaison officer. We will, because the Honorable Reverend is unwell, we will be lenient. And it may come back to bite us which is why we're saying that we may be lenient today to any questions, but we are not setting any precedents. We will invoke the rules and the code of conduct in any future sitting without responses. We will now move on to question number 67 from CS Zuma, asking to the MEC for education. Is the MEC on the platform, Mr. Memel? There is no apology.
Yes, Chair.
Yes, we have the question which has got 14 subsections because it was initially a question for written reply. I will allow you to respond so that we don't read it. It will take much time from our side. Honorable MEC Hlomoka.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to Prima MECs and all honorable members. Prima must indicate that we did respond to the questions raised by Honorable CS Zuma. However, we want to respond now to say on the immediate intervention that we implemented as a department at Zamogoshe Primary School. We did provide the trauma debriefing, which was provided by EAP and Employee Awareness on the 17th March 2026. And the school also has been supported on the safety protocol by the department. And we had meetings with local structures, including a local councillor and CPF. And also, on the 19th of March 2026, the circuit manager convened a meeting of all principals of Malandela Circuit, whose purpose was to revisit the school safety measures and identify gaps and proposal of strengthening the school safety. And one of the recommendations in that meeting was the inclusive of safety measures in the school budget. Hence, the district director on the 23rd of March 2026 convened a meeting with all principals within Inky area to discuss the additional strategies for safety schools. And then the second question was any existing measures were in place at the school prior to the incident. We responded, Speaker, by saying indeed the school is fenced and has 3 lock-up gates in the main gates and 2 other lock-up gates with palisade fence connecting to the building of the school. But we also indicated that the school has a qualified security guard in terms of a SIRA. But also indicated that the security guard carried a security radar, two-way radar, which able a security guard to communicate with the principal and the management of the school. But moreover, Speaker, the school has an alarm system which was installed by the private companies, and also the school is linked to the local subs, which are also measures. And the third question is that security measures comply with the provincial school safety policy. Indeed, the answer is yes. And what steps being taken to strengthen the security at the affected school and other high-risk schools in KwaMashu? As already indicated earlier, that the meeting was convened by the Pinetown district officials and the school security personnel and the school management to discuss the strengthening of the standardized operation procedure of the school safety plan. And the workshop was provided to all principals under KwaMashu on the 26th of March 2026. And there is a national school safety framework workshop is planned for the first quarter, which will take between April to June. Then the other question is how many similar incidents of armed robbery or violence crime have been reported at the school of KwaZulu over the past 3 years. We're saying 293 cases of armed robbery or violence have been reported by schools in the province over the past 3 years. And the budget allocated specifically for school safety and security in the current financial year, we are indicating that we have allocated 100 million for on the annual basis. Whether the question is whether there are plans to deploy additional security personnel or introduce armed response service at the school. We're indicating, Speaker, that the attempt to provide additional security personnel is not possible because of our financial challenges. However, we are engaging with security structures, and there are safety volunteers who are assisting us, and we're also working with SAPS in dealing with that. In terms of the question is what psychosocial support programs are being provided to affected educators and learners, and for how long will such support continue? We're saying, as already indicated, that at Zamogushla we provided that trauma debriefing, and also that as learners were not exposed to that incident, so there was no need to be part of that. But we're saying all SMST and SPSTs in the Pinetown District School have been capacitated on the critical step to follow the management of disaster and traumatic incidents, including management of learner sexual abuse cases, and all schools have guidelines document for schools management and school-based support teams. And the other question, it says whether the department has engaged with the school governing board regarding the improved safety protocol. If so, and what outcomes have been achieved. We have indicated that the engagement begins when the new SGP were elected and were workshopped, and it will provide training to SGPs, and were part of the training of issues of safety in schools, and also the framework that I spoke about. And the outcome of such engagement include, but not limited, Speaker, on the schools establish school safety committees, and all schools are now linked to them as local subs, and each school has a police officer that is aligned or assigned to it, and schools have developed their policies and plan, and there are schools that have CCTV cameras, and others they are budgeting for that. And what role it might expect local communities to play in safeguarding the schools, and how it is being coordinated, or indicating that local councillors and traditional leaders are mobilized to play an active role in safeguarding of schools, and department expect local communities to play a role of ownership and support protection of schools, and the role of realized through the quality learning and teaching campaign committee, which encourages the community structures. While indicating there is a KZN circular of 69 of 2024, which issued by the department to this effect, and the communities are encouraged to join WhatsApp group and to share information about threats that are facing schools. Whether any disciplinary or administrative action will be taken or neglected in the schools' security is identified. If so, we must details. We have already indicated the robbery that have taken place in the school is a criminal act which cannot be linked to the negligence of any part of the state paid or SGP paid security personnel. In some reported cases, and security guards become victims since criminals start by killing them or forcefully cause them to open gates through pointing the firearm. Then we have reported cases to SAPS, and we are working with SAPS to deal with those issues. What matters are in place to ensure teaching and learning are not disrupted following the incident. Schools report robbery incident to SAPS as already indicated, and we are working with all security structures, including the community safety department under the premium. Whether the department has conducted the risk assessment of schools in high crime areas, indeed, Speaker, the school safety audit or survey have been conducted in all schools, and as per the prescribed the National School Safety Framework, and some schools are funding include and not limited to issues of fence and cameras and insufficient security personnel, also dealing with the genderism in the communities, which also affect our schools. The last question was, what long-term strategy is in place to ensure that schools remain safe environment for both educators and learners. We were saying that the KZN Department of Education approved the provincial schools safety strategy in 2019, and one of the pillars of the strategy was to employment of school safety volunteers. While we still have challenges of a budget, if we have enough budget, we are going to recruit more security guards. But we're also saying that the provincial schools security plan, which deal with standard operational procedure for safety, for school safety, was approved. Thank you very much, Speaker, and thanks to all members.
Honorable members, thank you. I just want to affirm on record that all the questions that we'll be calling is because the responses have not been submitted on them as written questions. And I think, Honorable Dr. Mahlaba, you have to resuscitate the lives of the PLOs, so that they do not forget that they contribute to how our time is managed in the House, and they have responsibility, regardless of the fact that you had conducted a workshop on them at the beginning of the term. The next question is question number 68, which is from CS Zuma of the MKP to the MEC for Community Safety and Liaison. When the department was notified that this question is now coming here as an oral question, they officially applied in terms of the rules that the rule be deferred or stand down, and we have approved that. So, Honorable CS Zuma, the Premier will not be responding because they followed the process. The next question, economic development. The next question would now be to the MEC for Education. It's another one that has been converted from a written question. Oh, no, it's a new question from Honorable Elma Kwekwana to MEC for Education. Honorable MEC, question number 2 of 2026.
Thank you again, Honorable Speaker. The question read as follows: how many placement appeals were launched in term 1, and how many are unresolved? We have responded that we, at the head office level, we received 22 cases, and all were resolved. And aware that in case of the Eddington Primary, the first appeal on the 54 learners were on the waiting list, and 19 of them were admitted. And parents of 35 of those 54 learners indicated that they found admission in alternative schools. And the second appeal was on the 66 learners, and they were all admitted. It must be also noted that those 66 learners were also admitted in other schools. And the third appeal was on the 25 learners, and were all admitted. So we don't have any unresolved cases, Honorable Speaker. And then the second question, what were the common grounds in terms of the capacity limits or zoning or language policy? Were indicated that the common ground for admission and placement appeal was the issue of limited capacity in terms of applications that we receive by the schools, which sometimes are more than 500 for grade 8, and found that the schools have limited space, and sometimes parents, they leave the school of need and they go to the school of choice, which then complicate our challenges. Then the third question: what were the findings of any departmental or independent inquiry into alleged discriminatory exclusion? We indicated that in the officials assigned to intervene at Eddington found that allegation of discrimination and the prioritization of the foreign national level against the school were not true. And myself, I went there, and those parents, they've apologized for misleading the society, but they did indicated that they were hijacked by other people. Hence, in our media briefing, we had two parents from those 35 parents that were looking for our assistance to respond to those complaints. Then the fourth question: what is the departmental plan to expand capacity in high federal zones? We're indicating, Speaker, that we have a program of new and replace infrastructure and upgrade and addition to existing school, and we also have a program of mobile classroom, and we provide those additional infrastructure or mobile classroom on subject to availability of a budget. And then how is the department ensure transparency, fair and timely admission in 2020, 26, 2027, specifically regarding online system and appeal turnaround time oversight? We are indicating, Speaker, that we have not yet rolled out the online system to all schools in the province, but we piloted it at some focus schools like Mbosokbega, which deal with engineering under Amajuba, and the Maritime School of Excellence under Omlazi district. But we are also indicating that there are district admission committees who are dealing with any appeals or challenges that might occur during the admission process. And there's also a provincial admission committee. And the monitoring of admission and language policy were also indicating that the district officials and principals in public school and governing bodies were trained in 2020-25 on the amended Bella Act, and we are certain that they have capacitated to deal with that. And we have issued a circular which deals with administration of learner admission. And we are also keeping the waiting list so that when we have more space and we're able to take learners, or we provide more infrastructure space in terms of mobile classroom where we have more learners that are applying, because we don't want to see any children that is not admitted in our schools. And we have a turnaround time of indicating when there are appeals. And in terms of and also have a declaration of schools full, and circuit managers are responsible for official declaring schools if it's full, and this must be dealt by committee of the school. Thank you very much.
Okay, we will now move to question number 5 of 2026, which is from the Honorable Dr. M.S. Mtetwa of the MKP to the MEC Health.
Thank you very much, Speaker. The question is whether the MEC has considered the repeated calls by Umkhonto Wesizwe for her resignation arising from allegations of political patronage, irregular appointments, and the misuse of public funds within the provincial healthcare system. The response is that the MEC has not received any written allegations on political patronage, irregular appointments, and misuse of funds. The next question is, if she has not resigned, why not? My response is, I am a member of the African National Congress, appointed and representing the ANC in the House, appointed by the Premier to the Executive Council. Only those two parties have the right to indicate to me to withdraw from the Executive Council. If so, what independent investigations have been initiated? I cannot initiate an investigation on matters that have not been brought to my table. and what are their outcomes, the above response applies. Thank you.
Thank you, MEC. The next question is number 6 from NBZ Tele of the MKP, also to the MEC of Health.
Thank you, Chair. Speaker. The first question is whether any senior officials, managers, or service providers within the department have been disciplined, suspended, or referred for criminal investigation as a result of allegations of corruption and financial mismanagement. The response is 3 have been processed, 2 have been officially suspended, and the status of their cases, the first one, the case is, investigation is in progress. The second one, disciplinary inquiry is in progress, and it's the same with the third one. If so, how many cases have been finalized? 1 sanctions were imposed. It's nil because I've just indicated what's happening with the cases. How much public money has been recovered? We are still busy with that process. Thank you.
The next question is question number 7 from Honorable NBZ Tele of MKP, also to the MEC of Health.
Thank you, Speaker. Question is whether the MEC can indicate how allegations of corruption, patronage, and wasteful expenditure have affected frontline healthcare services, including the availability of medicines, staffing levels, and patient care. Response is the department is not aware of rampant corruption. However, all allegations of unethical conduct and misconduct, including allegations of corrupt activities, are investigated by the department's investigation services and investigation officers, which is appointed by Labor Relations whenever they are brought to the fore. However, if the member is aware of any specific cases, Speaker, we request that they submit those to the department so that we are able to launch an investigation thoroughly. The next question is, if so, what corrective measures have been implemented to restore public confidence and ensure service delivery?
Honorable Simelane, I hear that one of the members who are not well has raised her hand. I want to hear. Honorable Mbata. Honorable Mbata. O inobabe kuseyona indaba yokuthi akaphilile.
My apologies. Speaker, Sendri, angazi ipress kanjani lento ngiyaphosa kakhulu.
Ngishilo mhlonishwa siya understand awuphilile usemotweni usahamba ngemoto. You are not also dressed in line with the rules. You may continue, Honorable Simelane.
Speaker, the second question, if so, what corrective measures have been implemented? The response of the department is that the department is implementing various programs to restore public confidence, such as professionalization of the public service through training, ethics in the workshop. We have a fraud prevention and mitigation strategy implementation plan, and we have a risk management and assurance program.
Thanks with question 7. Now we're going to question 9. The next question is also from the Honorable Dr. M.S. Mteto of the MKP.
Thank you, Chair. Whether the department has a funded and time-bound infrastructure maintenance and refurbishment plan to rehabilitate hospitals, clinics, and community health centers affected by flooding, storm damage, and aging infrastructure. The response is yes. Question 2, if not, why not? That's not applicable. Question 3, if so, what budget has been allocated for the 26-27 financial year? We have allocated 31 million rands, Somlom, which facilities have been prioritized. All facilities that were affected by the storm have been prioritized. Thank you.
The next question, thank you. The next question is from Honorable Mr. Elma Kekwana to the MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. Is the MEC connected to the table officials? Yes. Honorable MEC, you have questions, a question that you will have to respond to. Honorable Buthelezi. Honorable Buthelezi. I suspect that the member is connected in a manner that is not consistent with the rules in terms of being present. And I am going to task you now, table officers, to follow that up so that if he is still unable to respond, he is disconnected because he is not in the House. We will now move. The next question was asked by a member who's submitted a legitimate apology of ill health and is not in the House, Honorable H.S. Lamin, and that will be dealt with in terms of the rules so that it is moved to the next time of the rules because the apology was accepted. Wow, honorable members, we have come to the end of the questions for today. We appreciate the MECs that responded, but we still maintain that the Office of the Chairperson of Committees has to follow up with the PLOs because something is not aligning with the rules. Honorable members, use questions to the members of the executive not only as a party mechanism to get information, but as taking the sector oversight model to work in the House, because questions show accountability. And if members of the executive do not respond to questions on time, they are therefore hindering that part of the House to exercise oversight unhindered. We will attend to it. For now, we will move on to the next item in the order paper, which is item 1 on the orders of the day, debate and voting on the conferral of a final mandate on the Public Service Commission Bill. The chairperson of the Portfolio Committee responsible for Premier and Community Safety has written to me requesting that she has someone presenting the report on her behalf. She is present, Honorable Fraser is present, but she had requested Honorable Masigo, those who were with Honorable Fraser at Umhlabia Lingana will remember why she can't present. Her voice was not okay even yesterday. Honorable F.A. Masigo, you can come for 5 minutes to table the report on behalf of the committee.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Members. In terms of Section 42, subsection 4 of the Constitution, the National Council of Provinces represents provinces to ensure that provincial interests are considered in the national sphere of government by participating in the national legislative process. The Public Service Commission Bill B30B of 2023, which is a Section 76 bill in terms of the Constitution, was referred to the Premier, Community Safety and Liaison Portfolio Committee in terms of Rule 259, subsection 1. In turn, the Legislature is, in terms of Section 118 of the Constitution, compelled to facilitate the public involvement in the committee's process of the Legislature and its committees. The Public Service Commission Bill B30 B30B of 2023 before the Portfolio Committee seeks to regulate the Public Service Commission in accordance with the provisions of Section 196 of the Constitution. 1, to regulate procedure for the appointment of commissioners of the Public Service Commission, to provide for the establishment of the Secretariat of the Commission to support the work of the Commission, and to repeal the Public Service Commission Act 1997, to provide for matters connected therewith. In terms of the method of work, the committee held a special meeting on the 3rd of October 2025 to receive a briefing from the Public Service Commission in terms of Rule 260, subsection 1. The committee then resolved to hold 2 public hearings due to the nature of the bill, as the stakeholders were easily identifiable. The committee thus conducted 2 public hearings as follows. 1, the first one was on the 4th of March 2026 at Newcastle City Hall, and the second one was held on the 6th of March 2026 at the Umlazi Cinema Hall. The closing date for written submissions was advertised as the 7th of March 2026. The comments and proposed amendments to the bill. The Office of the Premier State Law Advisory Services noted the following. The division of the bill into 5 different parts is unnecessary because the bill only has 22 sections. Usually the use of parts is essential for longer pieces of legislation. Secondly, definition of commissioner should include, open quote, a person who is appointed in terms of the relevant section of the bill, close quote. The use of the term rule is unusual because its regulation, which is essential, is subordinate legislation. Section 4, subsection A, subsection 4A, number 5 of the bill is vague in that it could include anything which gives unfettered discretionary powers on the President to appoint commissioners whose qualifications may not have been intended by the legislation. Number 5, the bill must prescribe in detail how the National Assembly and provincial legislatures should conduct the process of advertising, shortlisting, and interviewing for commissioners, and timelines for each process may be unnecessary. Subsections 196, 7, and 8 of the Constitution do not have sufficient details on this. Number 6, the bill must clearly stipulate a term of office for the commissioners as envisaged by Section 196, subsection 10 of the Constitution, which states that a commissioner can only be appointed for a 5-year period, renewable for another 5-year period, and nothing further than that. Number 7, it may also be advisable to have the bill pronounce on what will be considered a full term, especially when dealing with resignations, deaths, or possible dismissal, which will mean that some commissioners may not serve a full 5-year term. Since the bill is replacing an existing act, it is essential that there are transitional amendments inserted in the bill and pronounce on the current commissioner's right to be considered for new terms upon the bill being enacted. Number 9, the bill is not compliant with subsection 196(9) of the Constitution because it is not prescribing the procedure of the appointment of commissioners. Number 10, the bill also does not deal with the process of renewal of an additional term.
We allow you to continue, Honorable Masiko. We will be taking from the time for your response.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. In terms of the discussion, the chairperson and the members of the committee were thereafter invited to attend the Select Committee on Cooperative Governance and Public Service at the virtual meetings held on the 7th of March 2026, wherein the Parliamentary Legal Advisor and the Public Service Commission responded to all the concerns and proposals raised by the provinces in their negotiating reports. In terms of the conclusion, Honorable Speaker, the committee recommends that the legislature must confer authority on the head of the provincial delegation to the NCOP or a delegate designated by the head of the delegation to cast a vote in favor of the Public Service Commission Bill B30B of 2023 at the NCOP plenary. Honorable Speaker, this is the report of the Premier, Community Safety and Liaison Portfolio Committee on the final and voting mandate of the Public Service Commission Bill B30B of 2023. Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker.
Thank you, Honorable Masiko. We will now have the members that will come and debate. The first member for 6 minutes is the Honorable T.A. Nene.
Honorable Speaker, honorable members, I rise to contribute to this debate on the Public Service Commission Bill 2023 before this House. Let me state at the outset, while the intention of strengthening public systems and improving accountability is one we all support, the content, timing, and the implications of this bill demand far closer scrutiny than it has thus far received. At its core, the bill speaks to governance, oversight, and the management of public resources. But laws are not judged by their intentions, they are judged by their outcomes. And the question we must ask ourselves today is simple. Will this bill materially improve the lives of the people of KZN? Or will it become yet another layer of bureaucracy that burdens an already strained system? Honorable members, our province is in crisis. Unemployment remains stubbornly high. Infrastructure is crumbling. Service delivery protests are not isolated incidents in the province. They are the daily language of a frustrated and neglected people. In such an environment, any legislation we pass, we must be precise, efficient, and implementable. Clause 2 of this bill is applicable to the public service and has been extended to the public administration, which includes the municipalities. Section 195 of the Constitution mandates the PSC to ensure that both the public service and public administration must be governed by democratic values and principles of accountability enshrined in the said section. The PSC must have powers to investigate, monitor, play oversight by monitoring and evaluation of municipalities in their human resources practices and investigate grievances of municipal employees, maladministration and corruption in the local sphere of government. The bill is necessary to investigate and expose nepotism and appointment of unqualified employees in municipal sphere of government. Sibonile abantu belandwa kwabanye omasipala bazofaka ama-departments la ema-respec. This will curb employment of unqualified employees who hamper service delivery to the communities. Employees will also be able to report fraud, maladministration, and corruption in the municipalities. The finding of the Commission is binding in this regard and can only be overturned by a court. Independence of the Commission. The bill gives the PSC an equal status to the Chapter 9 institutions as they are all constitutional bodies. PSC as a Chapter 10 will allow now to be able to have its recommendations, findings, bindings, and those institutions in the Chapter 9 of the Constitution. Their budget will now need to be appropriated directly to the Commission to confirm its independence from the government. Appointment of commissioners, renewal of terms and limits in age, and transparency in the process. The bill does not clarify the process of appointment, and only the Constitution provides for such. The bill should allow for a specific parliamentary process that allows for a review of the performance of an incumbent commissioner prior to the term being renewed. The bill must clarify the term of office for the commissioners as well as the age limitation to hold office. South Africa has a highly educated youth who are unable to access such positions due to cadre deployment of pensioners instead of energetic youth who will add value in the public service. Another pensioner there. Instead of energetic youth who will add value in the public service and administration to ensure that all employees in the sectors are fit and proper and fit for purpose. The bill seeks to be progressive in holding the public service and administration accountable. Failure to have fit and proper employees of productive age who will not be party loyalists. As long as the bill does not have such provisions, Umkhonto weSizwe Party does not support the bill. At the end, please add clear and simplification of laws. Laws must be drafted in a clear form and simplified to enable a man on the street to understand them. Cross-referencing the Constitution defeats the purpose of having legislation accessible to the masses. On that basis, Umkhonto weSizwe rejects and abstains from voting until such concerns are rectified. Thank you very much.
The next member is the Honorable MC Mapisa for 6 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, the Honorable Premier, the Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable Chair of Chairs, the Honorable Deputy Chair of Chairs, Honorable MEC, and Honorable Members. Honorable Speaker, the IFP supports the objectives of this bill to strengthen the autonomy, effectiveness, and credibility of the Public Service Commission. As envisaged in Section 195 and 196 of the Constitution. Furthermore, Honorable Speaker, Section 237 requires that all constitutional obligations be fulfilled diligently and without delay. We support this bill because we believe firmly in good governance and in upholding the constitutional values and principles that must guide public administration in South Africa. At its core, this bill reflects a simple but urgent truth. Without a professional, ethical, and independent public service, the state cannot function effectively and the public cannot trust it. We therefore welcome the bill's intention to reinforce the independence and impartiality of the Commission, particularly through its expanded oversight of local government and public entities. We also support the move towards professionalizing leadership through clear merit-based criteria for commissioners. Public office must be earned through appropriate qualifications, proven experience, and an impeccable track record. Transparency in appointments is essential. We cannot afford to place individuals who of compromised character in positions that demand integrity, independence, and sound judgments. In addition, Honorable Speaker, the remuneration of commissioners must comply with the law and align with the budgetary processes approved by Parliament. Equally important is the strengthening of Commission's powers, the ability to issue binding directives, conduct thorough investigation, and extend oversight to municipalities and public entities is not merely administrative. It is essential to address persistent governance failures, particularly at local level where communities feel the impact directly. However, with regard to Clause 4 on the appointment of commissioners, the bill must clarify what will happen if a number of commissioners' term expires simultaneously. Without such clarity, the Commission could find itself without sufficient leadership for a period of time, thereby compromising its effectiveness. Mechanism should be introduced to ensure continuity and stability. The bill also seeks to enhance both proactive and reactive investigations, improve monitoring and evaluation of service delivery, and strengthen intervention in struggling municipalities. Achieving this objective will require improved capacity among public officials, sustained investment in infrastructure, and decisive national intervention where local authorities fail to meet their obligations. We note with concern that Section 4 is vague and open to wide interpretation. This risks granting excessive discretionary power to the President, which could undermine the principle of merit-based appointments. Safeguards must be strengthened to ensure that individuals who have been removed from position of trust due to misconduct or who have demonstrated lack of integrity are not appointed to critical roles without an appropriate cooling off period. There is also a gap regarding age limitation. The bill should clearly state whether individuals over the age of 65 may be appointed and whether compulsory retirement provisions apply. Such ambiguity is avoidable and must be addressed. While the bill restricts access to commission reports until they are submitted to the relevant executive authority, transparency must remain paramount. Finalized report that reveals serious legal contravention or risk to the public service should be published without undue delays. Accountability cannot take place behind closed doors. We do, however, welcome the provision that any person who obstructs the commission is guilty of an offense and liable to a fine or imprisonment. Furthermore, as witnesses may be required to appear before the commission, it is essential to strengthen protection mechanism. Given the growing threat to whistleblowers, enhanced safeguards must be put in place to protect individuals from intimidation or harm, particularly in high-profile cases. We also welcome the establishment of a dedicated secretariat under the authority of the Commission, as this will strengthen its institutional independence. However, it is a serious omission that the bill does not prescribe minimum qualification and experience for key leadership positions such as CEO and CFOs. These are strategic roles that require competence, integrity, and independence, and the holders should not occupy position in any political party during their tenure. If we are serious about rebuilding public trust, we must be equally serious about the standards we set and the institutions we strengthen. While this bill moves us in the right direction, it must do so without creating new risks or unintended weaknesses. With these concerns we have raised and with the necessary refinements, the IFP believes that this legislation has the potential to strengthen ethical governance, reinforce accountability, and restore confidence in the public sector. For this reason, Honourable Speaker, the IFP supports the bill. Thank you.
The next member for 4 minutes is Honourable C.Q. Maldopa.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, Leader of Government Business, and Honourable Members, today the African National Congress rises to affirm a principle that lies at the very heart of our democracy, that public power must always be exercised in the service of the people and under the discipline of accountability. And this Public Service Commission bill is a decisive step in strengthening the principle of accountability. It gives practical effect to the vision contained in our Constitution, a vision of a public administration that is ethical, capable, and responsive to the needs of our people. The bill represents a continuation of that historic mission. It strengthens the independence of the Public Service Commission, ensuring that it can act without fear, favor, or prejudice. It expands its reach across all spheres of government, including municipalities and public entities, where the daily lived experience of our people is most directly shaped. And it equips the Commission with the tools to investigate, monitor, and enforce compliance as a concrete intervention in improving service delivery. Honourable Speaker, this is what it means when the African National Congress says we are building a capable and developmental state. But let us also be clear, this bill does not emerge in a vacuum. It is a direct response to the challenges we have confronted as a nation, including the painful lessons of corruption and state capture. As the African National Congress, we have not turned away from these realities. Instead, we have taken them head on through our renewal agenda, which calls on us to rebuild trust, restore integrity, and strengthen accountability across all levels of governance. And this bill is part of that renewal in action. Honorable Speaker, the Portfolio Committee approached this bill with the seriousness it deserves. It engaged with the Public Service Commission, facilitated public hearings in Newcastle and Umlazi, and interrogated the legal and constitutional implications of the bill. Concerns were raised on appointments, on procedures, and on the extension of the Commission's mandate to local government. These were not ignored. They were robustly engaged, clarified, and addressed. This is what responsible governance looks like: engagement, scrutiny, and decisive leadership in the public interest. But, honorable members, it should not surprise anyone if the essence of this bill flies above the heads of some members in this House, because the very notion of the accountability is foreign within their own organization. A bill of this nature, which seeks to institutionalize accountability, strengthen oversight, and entrench ethical governance across the state, may be difficult for them to fully appreciate and understand. But as African National Congress, we are saying to the people of KwaZulu-Natal and South Africa, we hear you, we are acting, and we are strengthening the institutions that must serve you. And this bill is not the end. It is part of a broader journey of renewal, of rebuilding, and of ensuring that the democratic state remains firmly in the hands of the people. I thank you, Honorable Speaker. African National Congress support the bill.
The next member for 2 minutes. 4 minutes. Is Honorable T.J. Protester.
Honourable Speaker, Honourable Premier, MECs present, honourable members. I greet you all warmly today as we gather to reaffirm our shared commitment to building a capable, ethical and accountable state. The Public Service Commission stands as one of South Africa's most vital constitutional institutions, established under Chapter 10 of our Constitution to safeguard the foundational values of public administration, accountability, transparency, professionalism and service to the South African community. The PSC is mandated to operate independently, impartially, without fear or favour or prejudice, ensuring that government institutions uphold the highest standards of ethics and efficiency. Accountability is not an abstract ideal. It is the practical foundation of trust between the state and the citizens. When public servants act with integrity, when misconduct is confronted, and when systems are strengthened, ordinary South Africans feel the impact through improved services, restored trust, and more responsive government. The intrigue of this debate is that the opposition, who pretend to be the champions of the people, strangely have opposed this legislation. The MK were at first unsure, which is understandable, as reading for meaning is a problem in our country. And then abstained, and then finally opposed. As the MK caucus in this House are incapable of an independent thought between them, it must be obvious that they were waiting from orders from Don Jay-Z. As he did from Luthuli House back in the day, his missives now come from Nkandla. And the message is clear. The state was dismantled and captured in the Zuma years, and the last thing the fire pool master wants is a pesky PEC holding commanders accountable. Even Honourable Nene speaks about bureaucracy in the opening line of his speech and then doesn't explain it. Then he goes on to say how much he loves the bill, And then he goes on to say...
Now, honorable members, you are drowning the speaker, and you are unfortunately in the drowning led by Honorable Makubane, who's a whip. Please, honorable members, allow the member to continue his debate like they allowed your member to continue with his. Continue, honorable protester.
Thank you. I've got the microphone, so that's fine. So Honourable Nene clearly loves the bill. For about 5 minutes, he said how amazing it was. And then he said, no, but it needs a parliamentary process. But Ubaba has said he wants to dismantle a parliament. So I don't get this. And then we come to the EFF. When the voting started, they were nowhere to be found. Partly and maybe because they were down at Pep stores trying to see if they can trade in their red overalls for fire orange ones, just in case. However, the voters in KZN are watching. There is a thirst for good governance that results in proper service delivery, and these wannabe fighters and commanders have just hit a major flop by showing their true colours. They are con artists whose only aim is self-enrichment. The DA is clear and consistent in its approach. Accountability in the public service is not a partisan issue, it is a constitutional imperative. We put our money where our mouths are every day where we govern, and it works. The DA will continue championing reforms that enhance merit-based appointments, reduce political interference, and build a public service that truly puts people first. We will not budge on these principles, and we will march on. Siyabangena!
Honorable members, the next speaker for 2 minutes is Is Honorable TJ, please, your time is pelile. It is now the time of Honorable MW Twala for 2 minutes. Honorable Twala.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We are not con artists, the Honorable TJ, and your desperation to ridicule the EFF in this platform is not going to really gain any mileage in this House. We are just gullible and we are very petty on the debate. Focus on the debate at hand and stop being so desperate on ridiculing the left. We are champions and we are going to take power in this province, and you are going to be ashamed. Very soon we are going to be in the opposition benches where we are going to be howling. So stay put. Political developments are very interesting in this province. Madam Speaker and honorable members of this House, the economic freedom fighters,
Honorable members, no, Honorable Kika, sit properly, Honorable Kika. Thank you.
Honorable members and the economic freedom fighters support the Public Service Amendment Bill, noting that it provides the devolution of administrative powers from executive authorities to head of departments to augment the roles of director generals and to clarify the role of public service in respect of the grievance procedures. The EFF is of a view that politicians must remain political heads who should be removed from the day-to-day administrative functions, which must be the sole responsibility of appointed officials. The DA member has just took my 2 minutes, but it's good that I clarified him. Thank you very much.
The next member. Honorable members, Honorable members, the next member for 2 minutes is Honorable C.M. Shinga, the MEC for Social Development. Honorable Shinga. Honorable Shinga, are you on there? I am going to move to the next speaker if Honorable Shinga is not coming. And table staff, you do the further investigation like I required you to do on the MEC for Kokta, because she's there. I can see she's connected. But ngubani lo? Kodwa mhlonishwa umkhize ubuye ngelinye ilanga ke ngonkosi yami. Ubheke ngemuva. You are looking at behind you when we are calling for attention, yes. Or umkhize NW, not SSM. Now, Honorable Shinga is there. You may take the podium.
Thank you, Somlomo Hloniphekile. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Deputy Speaker, the Honorable Premier, honorable members. Today we have an important opportunity to support a bill that is fundamental to transforming our public service, the Public Service Commission Bill. This bill seeks to establish a professional, independent, and capable Public Service Commission committed to serving our people efficiently, ethically, and with integrity. It provides a strong framework for the appointment and functioning of the Commission, ensuring that appointments are based on merit, qualifications, and suitability rather than political considerations. This is a critical step in strengthening the credibility of our public institutions. Honorable Speaker, central to this bill is the principle of independence. The Commission must be able to operate without fear, favor, or prejudice. The bill therefore introduces safeguards against obstruction and undue influence, ensuring that the work of the Commission is guided strictly by constitutional and legal principle. KwaZulu-Natal, operating under the government of provincial unity, understands the importance of a public service that is driven by service delivery and by political alignment. I urge this House to support the enhancement of this bill as it advances our constitutional values. Let us support this bill as a step towards building a public service that serves all South Africans with integrity, professionalism, and dedication. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
The next member is Honorable E.N.M. Tetwa for 6 minutes.
Honorable Speaker, Mutagatachi Chuba Bingelele Gwena, Bingelele Gwe Premier, my members wonke, ingane zikamdala ngale ngiyabingelela. Ngokukhethekileyo ngicela ukubingelela umhlonishwa Honorable Shinga. Singumkhonto wesizwe party kulendlu sifisa ukuqala ngokusho ukuthi lolu hlelo lokulalelwa komthetho sivivinyo obekwe phambi kwalendlu othinta ukucishiyelwa komthetho wokulawula nokuqokwa kwekhomishana yokuphatha komnyango wezomphakathi phakathi kuhulumeni i-Public Service Commission Bill B30B 2023. Inhlangano yabantu umkhonto wesizwe party ibile ingxenye yezithangami ezahlukene lapho khona kade kuzolalelwa imibono yabantu ngalomthetho sivivinyo kanyaka ka-2023. Somlomo umkhonto wesizwe party uyakuqonda kahle kakhulu ukuthi kunezinselelo ezivelayo ngalomthetho sivivinyo. esiwudingidayo namhlanje. Somlomo, kuyavela ukuthi lo mthetho ocitshelwayo awulandelile imigudu efanele kanye nepheleleyo ukuchibiyela. Okwesibili somlomo, lo mthetho sivivinyo ophakathi kwethu kulendlu awukuvezi kucace ukuthi amandla ekhomishana ahamba aphelele kuphi ezintweni ezithinta izinkontileka zabasebenzi. Ngokucacile akuveli kulomthetho sivivinyo. Okunye okuhlaluka njengenselelo ukugamanxa kwezinye izikhungo zikahulumeni kanye nalezi zemiphakathi yethu. Akucaci kahle ukuthi njengoba omasipala belawulwa ngokwesigaba somthetho sisekelo kuzokwenzeka kanjani ungabaphuci amandla namalungelo abanikwa umthetho sisekelo wezwe. Somlomo, siwumkhonto wesizwe party sibona kuzoba nokushayisana okuningi endleleni yokulawulwa komasipala bethu ezweni. Sengiphetha somlomo, singumkhonto wesizwe party angeke sikweseke ukucitshiyelwa komthetho ozobukela phansi amandla ezinye izakhiwo nokungacacisile kwezinto esizibhale ngenhla. Siyabonga somlomo. I thank you.
Honorable members, some of you would be distracted for the rest of the debate, but be the loudest to. You see the three gentlemen here, the loudest to cheer. Kodwa kwesikhathi bekukhulunywa bebengalaleli bobathathu. Abanumzana laba bahloniphekile. And honorable members, that one was just in passing. We have come to the end of the debate. We are now in the response by the Honorable Masik on behalf of the chairperson. And you'd remember that kekune minute lakho limkile. Usuna mamini shana amane.
Thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And yes, I am responding on behalf of the chairperson. Firstly, Honorable Speaker, I wish to express my sincere appreciation to all the members who have participated in this debate and engaged as well with the report of the Portfolio Committee on the Public Service Commission Bill. The inputs, Honorable Speaker, that have been raised here today, they do reflect the level of seriousness in which this House exercises its constitutional responsibility, particularly in relation to Section 76 of the bill, where the voice and interests of the provinces must be clearly articulated as well as protected. Honorable members, as outlined in the report, the committee undertook a thorough and inclusive process. This included the briefings, the public hearings which were held in Newcastle and Umlazi, and the active participation as well in the select committee process. Importantly, the bill or the public who participated expressed support for the bill, where the committee itself had also raised critical concerns, particularly around issues of the constitutionality, appointment procedures, as well as the governance clarities. I do, Honorable Speaker, want to or wish to assure Honorable Nene as well as Honorable Lumtetwa that the concerns raised were not ignored. They were robustly engaged with by the Public Service Commission as well as the Parliamentary Legal Services. The committee carefully considered these responses as well as satisfied itself with the matters which they have raised, and they were either adequately addressed or are also provided for within the Constitution. I further wish to appreciate Honorable Mapisa for raising the issue of transparency and for correctly emphasizing its importance. Indeed, transparency is not only paramount, it is fundamental to the kind of public administration we wish to build. I fully agree with him when he raises the applicability of the bill where the tire hits the ground, and that is at a local government level. And also assure the House that the bill does not undermine the constitutional status of local government, but rather it enforces or reinforces good governance across the broader public administration framework. I wish to also appreciate Honorable Madlopa, Honorable Brautaseth, Honorable Shinga, as well as Honorable Twala for their support, and also raising the importance of the bill in its aim to strengthen the role of Public Service Commission in promoting the values and the principles of the public service administration as it is envisaged in Section 195 of the Constitution, and the values which include accountability, transparency, and professional ethics across all spheres of government. Finally, honorable members, the responsibility of this House is to take a decision that advances effective governance and strengthens oversight institutions. I therefore, Honorable Speaker, plead and call for this House to support this bill. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable.